Welcome to Intuitive Alchemy, the space where we turn cosmic and spiritual insight into practical, real-world healing. I'm Sydney, trained intuitive, energetic alchemist, and medical astrologer in training. And on Intuitive Alchemy, I get personal. We don't do surface level here. We go deep. No fluff, just the energetic shifts, raw stories, and grounded practices that actually change your life and activate your personal power. Now let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Intuitive Alchemy. Oh my goodness, you guys, this sunburn, I promise this whole episode will not be about the sunburn again, but just a quick update. I am in the phase of the sunburn where it is just ragefully itchy. And no matter how much lotion I put on, I got the CeraVe thick cream that has a lot of ceramides and everything for the skin barrier, because obviously the skin barrier of my legs right now is non-existent. It's so incredibly fucking damaged. So all of the swelling is gone, thank God, and it's still very red and it's peeling like crazy. I feel like an actual reptile. I have never peeled like this before. It's not little pieces. It's like I'm peeling a thick sticker off of my skin, and it's wild. It doesn't hurt, and I'm not peeling it too soon or anything. It's coming off. It's just it's like a thick film is just coming off of my body, and it's wild. I literally feel like I'm shedding like a snake or like a reptile. And I was showing Corey, and he doesn't get grossed out of stuff very easy. He is okay with blood and stuff like that. But I was showing him, and he was like, ew, stop. So anyway, it's definitely healing, but there is some serious damage done, and I'm hoping that it won't scar or anything. My right leg is worse than my left, so we will see. But I'm just happy that the swelling is down and that it doesn't hurt to stand up anymore, because it was extremely painful to stand up and have the circulation and everything rushing down and flooding those damaged capillaries in my legs. And it was just oh my, it would hurt. I've never felt a pain like that. It did not feel like what you would associate a sunburn to feel like. I was telling Corey this last night. It was the wildest thing. It was not even the fact that my that my skin was sunburned. That wasn't the most painful part. It was the circulation stuff and the edema, the swelling and all of that hurt. And it was almost like a nerve pain. It kind of felt like, but anyway, I'm on the mend. I still am not doing intense workouts or anything. And I'm still not taking hot baths or shaving my legs. Who knows when I'll be able to shave my legs again? Oh my God. At this point, they're getting pretty hairy. But anyway, just a little update on the sunburn situation. But today I want to talk about something a little bit practical, really. Which is, I've talked a lot about the nervous system, and a lot of people talk a lot about the nervous system, of course, for a great reason. It is the root of all. I will never shut up about the nervous system because it is literally everything. However, what I don't feel like I personally have talked about enough is what does fight, flight, freeze, fawn, shut down, what does that actually look like in real life, in daily life? Because I think everybody at this point knows those terms, fight, flight, freeze. Maybe fawn and shut down are not as well known, but I think they're becoming more well known. But it's okay, I can I can logically know, like in an emergency, life-threatening situation, what fight, flight, freeze, and fawn might look like out in nature. Like we can picture animals fighting or running away or acting like playing dead or whatever. Like we can picture that. But like, what does it look like when we're just humans living our regular, like typically unexciting, just kind of routine lives? Like, what does it look like whenever we're in one of those states? Because it does show up. It just doesn't show up as maybe like dramatically or obviously as it does if it is more of a life-threatening or like just dangerous, traumatic situation. So I talked about before in the episode where I was going over, like, I think it was 14 practices and products that I was loving. I talked about how I'm in the broadcast room with Jamie C, and that's her container where she really just like kind of coaches entrepreneurs or creators on how to embody their true archetype and their true style and their energy versus like just doing what like whatever Instagram coach or whatever business coach like tells you works because of the algorithm. And she talks a lot, Jamie C, just like in her work in general, she talks a lot about nervous system regulation as it relates to like your business or posting or wealth, like how your capacity to hold wealth or your lack of capacity to hold wealth. And so I really love how she talks about all of that. And so I just wanted to talk about some examples of how fight, flight, freeze, fawn, shutdown can show up in life, whether it be like you're posting on Instagram or whether it be like something with your partner or just like daily life things, how to detect like, ooh, I might be in fight mode right now, or I might be in freeze right now. And then I'll talk a little bit about some regulation techniques and we'll just go from there. So, okay, let's get into it. Refresher on fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and shutdown, which I'm actually going to blend freeze and shutdown together because they are essentially the same. The shutdown is just like the more severe version of it. So anyway, we'll start with fight. So this is when your energy rises, you are feeling irritation, anger, defensiveness, and a need to control. Like you got a serious, oh my God, I need to like control the situation as much as I can. The stories that you're telling yourself during a fight response are things like, I have to, I need to, there's not enough time, everything feels urgent, I need to do this ASAP, I need to do this right now. Those are the kinds of like thoughts or like discussions you're going to be having while you're in a fight response. And then flight, that's you're going to be feeling restless, overthinking. You can't sit still. You're probably fidgety. You're running away from the feeling by like you're escaping from a feeling by like maybe scrolling, overworking, kind of like numbing out in some way. Maybe it's overeating or maybe it's like whatever vice it is for you. You're using that to escape from whatever the source of the stress is. And then the stories that you're telling yourself during a flight response is like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get out of here. This feels like too much to do on my own or to handle on my own. And then freeze / dorsal vagal shutdown, which also can be known as functional freeze. I was in that. I would say that I'm not in that anymore, but I think it's something that it kind of vacillates. Like you can, I don't know this for like scientific fact, but just from my experience, it feels like I may always have a little bit of a propensity to go back into a freeze response now that I've already been in it for a pretty significant amount of time. So I don't quote me on that, but I just feel like because like it's comfortable there, I'm like familiar with it. It feels like my system is maybe like when it's presented with a threat, it's more likely to go back to freeze versus like flight or something else. So, okay, if you are, like I said, the dorsal vagal shutdown is the more severe version of freeze, and it's actually the most like primitive of any of these nervous system states that we have. So if you are in freeze or shut down, you are feeling, you guessed it, shut down, numb, dissociated. You are probably procrastinating, pushing things off. And the stories that you're telling yourself are like, I just can't. There's no point. I can't do this. This is too much. I don't know where to start. I'm overwhelmed. That's kind of the general energy of a freeze or a shutdown. The shutdown is going to be more of like, there's no point. This is just too much. I can't, like, why should I anyway? It doesn't matter. It's going to be a little bit more severe, and like it can almost sound like depression. However, it's not depression. Like, you can feel depressive, but it is not the same thing as clinical depression. It's literally just your nervous system shutting down to protect you because it perceives at this point almost everything as a threat. Okay, and then the last one is fawn. So over-pleasing, people-pleasing, abandoning your own needs for harmony. This is where you're going to see your like self-sacrificing people. Like anxious attachment to me feels very like fawn response, because you're just like, I will do anything to make this other person happy. Like, as long as I can get them to text me back, like, whatever. I will be whoever they need me to be. I will say whatever they need me to say. I will just whatever, like, I will fawn just to like, for them to love me. Like that, I very much associate like anxious attachment with a fawn response. And then also I associate avoidant attachment with like a flight, maybe a freeze, but also a flight, like probably more so a flight response. So, and then the stories that you're telling yourself when you're in fawn is like, if I don't do X, I won't get Y. If I don't do this, then I'm not going to get what I want or what I need. Or if I don't act like this, or if I don't self-sacrifice, then this person is not going to love me. Or then if I don't act like someone that I'm not, then I won't get hired for this job. If I don't post the same exact way that my mentor does, then I'm not going to have the same successful results that she does, or I'm not going to gain the same kind of following as she does. And so, as you can see, like, none of these stories that you tell yourself when you're in any of these different responses are true, but that is how you can identify where you're at. So none of these stories, like, hopefully I don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it just anyway. None of these stories are true or accurate or like really portraying reality. It's just that is what your primitive nervous system is having you believe. And then let's give some examples. So if you are in a fight response, you might be snapping at your partner, getting a little overly snappy. I can get this way for sure. I can, like, especially if I'm feeling overstimulated or if I'm feeling like a need is not being met in some way, I can get real snappy over something small. Like, it's not really a warranted snap. And then another sign is like, if you're a jaw clencher, if you're always waking up in the morning and you're like, God, my jaw hurts, or my teeth are really sore, because I can feel like I was just clenching my jaw all night. Or another way this shows up is, are you a road rager? If you are noticing yourself driving around and you're just like wanting to flip everybody off and you're just like, fuck you, da, da, da. Like, you're just always trying to, like, you're just constantly like defensive driving, and you're just like, oh, this is making me so mad. You're probably just stuck in a fight response. Like, obviously, yeah, sometimes we all have a little road rage because people do dumb shit, especially if you live in Arizona. Oh my God, I have never seen anything like the chaos that it is on the roads, specifically in Phoenix, but like a little bit in Scottsdale too. But like Phoenix is, I would say, the worst. But my God, it's like people set out literally to just like try and get in an accident. I don't get it. I really, truly don't get it, but you're never safe. You're never safe on the roads in Phoenix. So anyway, okay. And then the flight response, some examples would be like, you can't stop cleaning when you're stressed. Like you are using a task like cleaning, or like you decide, oh my God, I actually, instead of doing this like thing that I really need to do that I'm feeling overwhelmed by, I'm actually gonna go organize my closet and like clean out my entire closet and color code it and clean the whole entire house, and like call this friend that I haven't talked to in a while, and then I'm gonna probably go grocery shopping and like meal prep for the week. Like you're just doing anything but the thing that you're avoiding. And then like saying yes to every project, you're just like, yes, how can I spread myself the absolute thinnest? And you, if you're in flight, I probably find it very, very difficult to just like sit down, relax on the couch or bed or whatever, and just like maybe watch something without also doing something else like scrolling or having your laptop, which I can also struggle with this. Sometimes I do find it difficult to just do one thing, like just watch a show without also being on my fucking phone. So that's something I'm working on. And then freeze, you are just kind of like stuck. Like that is the best way I can kind of describe freeze, is you're just like kind of not catatonic, but like you're just kind of stuck. Like you're binge watching for hours. You are like only getting up to go to the bathroom and maybe get yourself some food, but maybe not even that. You might be staring at the wall instead of answering emails. Like if you're at work and you're at your desk and you're like, okay, I know I need to be doing these things. I know I need to check my emails. I know I've got some missed calls or whatever. But you're actually just kind of like staring off into space and like daydreaming and dissociating. And just kind of feeling like brain fog, feeling like your brain is like offline, like your brain is in airplane mode. You're like, where is it? Where is it? It's not connecting. That is what freeze feels like. And then it's also, I want to say one more thing about freeze. It's not even like just necessarily like a sad feeling. It's just like you're not really feeling. So that's kind of how I would differentiate my personal experience, like depression from freeze. Is depression like feels a lot more like sad or depressive and freeze just kind of feels like you're not really feeling, like you're just kind of not there really. So okay, Fawn, you are saying yes to dinner plans, even though you really want to go home and go to bed early because you are fucking exhausted. You are over apologizing whenever you really don't even have something to be sorry for. You're just like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry for being late, or I'm sorry. Instead of saying like, oh, thank you for waiting, or thank you for being patient, you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And you're just like, please don't hate me. Please don't be mad at me. You know? You are changing your needs to match someone else's. That is really like the main theme of Fawn, is you are sacrificing your needs or your wants or whatever, your standards, to match someone else's so that they will love you, accept you, whatever the situation calls for. Okay, let's move into regulation. So I'm just going to give you a few regulatory practices for each of these states. And then we'll talk about, in a little bit, how to make it more specific for you, because as I have talked about before, and I will continue to talk about, each tool is not created equal for you specifically. So all of these tools that I'm going to name are great and they do absolutely work. But are they going to work 100% for you? I don't know, because that is dependent on your specific nervous system, your soul blueprint, aka your birth chart. And so, like, all of these ones that I'm going to name aren't necessarily the most regulatory for me, but I'm still going to tell you because it might be for you. And then, like I said, later we'll talk about how to get more specific and what resources I have to, if you want to get more specific. So, all right, regulation. We also want to know which responses require us to up regulate or down regulate, because it's not all the same. I think a lot of times whenever we think about nervous system regulation, we think of like calming down and like slowing down and just relaxing and like slow, you know, and that's actually not what all of these responses require. Like, specifically, if you are in freeze, you're actually underactivated and you need to upregulate. You need to move your body. It needs to be gentle because you don't want to do too much too soon, because then you can go further into freeze. But you need to be shaking your body. You need to gentle, like dancing, like intuitive dancing. Maybe you listen to some upbeat music. Maybe you take a little bit of a brisk walk, or you do some breath work, like breath of fire or like lion's breath. Maybe some energizing smells, like excitatory, stimulating smells like peppermint or citrus. And then also you really will benefit from warmth and heat if you are in a freeze response. So if you are in fight or flight, you are actually overactivated, and that is when you do need to downregulate. That is when those traditional things that you're probably thinking of, like grounding and slow movement and humming and singing and all of that, works. And also, if you are in fight or flight, cold is going to be better for you than warm, because if you're already overactivated, warmth is not going to probably be your best option. That's when you might need a cold compress, or you might need to dunk your face in some ice water, or if you are super intense, you might take a cold shower or do a little cold plunge. I personally don't recommend cold plunging for women unless maybe they're in their follicular phase. But even then, I'm not a huge fan, but you do you. Like, you know, if you listen to your body, you'll know if that's going to be best for you, or if it's actually just better to like maybe turn the water on cool for the last couple minutes of your shower, or get a little ice roller and roll it on the back of your neck or whatever. And then if you are in a fawn response, that is an overcoupled response. So like I don't know how else to say overcoupled. Like, you just basically, what you need is you need boundaries and you need self-trust. So you need to separate yourself and your needs from whatever other needs you are perceiving that someone or something else has, because right now you're like merging yourself with that person or thing, and you need to separate it, uncouple it. So some tools for you if you're in fawn are going to be like mirror work, speaking to yourself, looking into your own eyes, practicing saying no, even in situations where it's like totally inconsequential. Like my partner Corey sometimes has a hard time saying no or speaking up whenever it is something that he perceives might upset someone or like he might be rejected for. And so with him, I can kind of recognize whenever he's doing that and like fawning, so to speak. And I will usually like try to give him the opportunity of like, hey, like it's safe. You can tell me whatever is like upsetting you, or, you know, whatever the thing is, you can say it. I'm not going to like react in a big way and like blah, blah, blah. And then after, usually when he says it, it's like not a big deal. It's not something I would have even like thought anything about, but like for him, it felt big to say like, no, I don't want to do that. Or actually you kind of hurt my feelings or whatever. And then afterwards, I'm always like, Do you see how it felt better? Like whenever you told me, and then like you got it out of your body, you got it out of your mind, you spoke it, and like I received it and it was safe and like everything's good. And now it's better because now you don't feel resentful about me. And I don't feel like you're not being honest with me whenever I ask you what's wrong and you say nothing's wrong and blah, 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 blah. Some other tools for you if you're in Fawn are like journaling on your needs, just getting really honest with yourself. And then also co-regulating with someone else that's safe, just like I was talking about, like with me and Corey. Just got to make sure that that person is safe though. Like you certainly don't want to co-regulate with someone who you are already fawning with. Like that's probably not the best option. Or someone that makes you feel like you need to fawn, I should say, because people go into fawn sometimes like not, it's not at the fault necessarily of the other person, but if like they're an intimidating person to you, like maybe that's not someone who is super safe to co-regulate with. And then fawn also benefits from warmth or heat. So even if it's just like a heating pad on your lower back or, you know, a warm bath or something, like it doesn't have to be a sauna or something super intense. It can be gentle, just something that is really comforting and feels good. And then some co-regulation tools, which these can be used for any of the different fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses. So let's talk about active, because there's two categories, active and passive. So the active ones, a few, just to name a few, there are many more, but just to name a few, would be like a long hug or eye contact or eye gazing, safe touch from a loved one or a friend or, you know, whoever that you feel safe with. Laughing with a friend, like maybe you're watching something funny or you're telling funny stories, reminiscing, or cuddling or just spending time near a pet. That, I mean, you can borrow the nervous system of your sweet dog or cat or whatever pet you have. Horses are like amazing for that too. There's a whole like equine therapy for that. And then more passive forms can be like listening to calm voices. A lot of people like ASMR for regulation, which I'm not a huge fan, but a lot of people like that. It's calming to them. Putting on regulating music, rewatching a comfort show. I'm a huge fan of this one, especially at night. Corey and I, we have like shows that we're watching, and then we have like a bedtime show, which is always going to be like less intense. It's going to be like a cooking show or like Sex in the City, which I've seen so many times, or Schitt's Creek, or something funny or something just lighthearted that I'm not like, it's not keeping me awake because I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? This is so like, my heart is beating so fast. It's not something that's super activating. And then grounding in nature, that's also co-regulation, because you can ground with things and places, not just with people. A lot of times when we hear co-regulation, we think of like it has to be another person, but it doesn't. It can be like a tree, or it can be a blanket, a soft blanket, or it can be a pet, or it can be a warm drink that is really yummy and comforting to you. You can be around regulated people, even if you're not interacting, like parallel play, or you can just like be next to someone you love, a partner, a friend, and you don't have to even talk, but just like kind of borrow, like lean on their nervous system if they are regulated. And then something also that's passive is you can just literally think about someone or something that you love or that's comforting to you, or think about gently moving your body, or think about your favorite place that feels super peaceful to you. Even that will make a difference. Even though you're not actually taking an action, you are still making a difference with your mind, which is really cool and powerful. And then the astrology tie-in, because we always have an astrology tie-in, is, I've talked about this before, but we're just going to briefly go back over it. So your moon sign is how your body processes emotions, and it gives you clues for your regulation style. It also can tell you where in your body you store stress or trauma or just like emotions that are stuck in your body that maybe are unexpressed or repressed. And your Mercury, both the sign and the house, which that's the same for the moon, the sign and the house as well. Your Mercury equals how your nervous system communicates, because Mercury is the planet of communication, and it can show you what your default wiring is. So I, of course, go into all of this. I go into all of the moon signs, placements, and houses, and all of the Mercury placements and houses in my nervous system regulation blueprint, protocol, guide, whatever you want to call it, Mercury Medicine. And that is where I literally walk you through how to customize your own nervous system healing, regulating protocol for your specific placements. Because like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if I tell you what works best for me. Like if I have a Cancer Mercury in the 6th house and a Sagittarius moon in the 10th house, and you've got like a Pisces moon in the 2nd house and an Aries Mercury in the 7th house, like we are not going to regulate the same way. We might need exactly the opposite kinds of tools. And so that's what I just like want everybody to know, is it is not one size fits all. Nothing is one size fits all when it comes to our health and our bodies, our systems, even our minds. Nothing is one size fits all. So as I've been on my nervous system healing and regulating journey, I was discovering that like there were certain things that I was like, this isn't hitting for me. Like it's just not clicking. And that was kind of confusing for me at first, because so many people would it would be trending and so many people would be posting about it and like, going on and on about how this was the thing that like saved them and got them totally regulated. And I'm like, well, this is not doing that for me. So like what's going on? And that's when I started learning more through the medical astrology lens about how different our wirings are and what we all need. So that's why I created Mercury Medicine, and it is on sale right now for it's on sale for $37. So it's on sale $20 off just for a limited time. And also, as always, you can use the code podcast, the promo code podcast, for an extra 20% off. I'm still going to leave that active because honestly it's just easier for me to leave it than to take it off and then remember to put it back on whenever the sale is over. So if you want to grab Mercury Medicine, highly recommend that you do that now, because the sale will not be going on forever. So grab it at the lower price if you want it. And just a reminder, nervous system regulation, once again, is not a one size fits all. Don't just do what I say I'm doing, or what someone else says they're doing, or what you're scrolling on Instagram and you see somebody post about. Don't just take that and do it. It's not going to hurt you, but it could totally just not help you. And actually, I'm going to take that back. It might hurt you, because if you are in a state of shutdown and someone is like, oh my God, all you need to do to regulate is meditate. Wrong. If you are in a state of freeze, especially if you've made it to the dorsal vagal shutdown phase, meditation is actually going to be harmful for you, and it's just going to send you further into freeze. So it is actually very imperative that you find out, first of all, what response are you typically in. And we can vacillate between, maybe you're mostly in fight but sometimes you go into flight, or maybe you're in freeze but sometimes you also fawn. That is totally normal. None of us are just one, but it's important for you to kind of know what your typical responses are, and then also what your specific system needs to regulate. And whenever you notice yourself in one of these states, instead of judging it and being like, oh my God, why? I know better than this. I know that these stories aren't true, blah, 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 blah. Just ask yourself what your body needs. Does it need to upregulate? Does it need to downregulate? Does it need to co-regulate? And then again, use the Mercury Medicine Guide to help you choose specifically what activity to do. Okay. that's all for today, my lovely friends. I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And if you have any questions about mercury medicine or anything like that, feel free to DM me on Instagram. But of course, the link is in the show notes for you to grab it. I will talk to you soon. If this episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend who needs it. Take a screenshot, post it to your Instagram story, and tag me at Intuitively Sydney. That's SIDNEY. I would love, love, love to see who's tuning in so I can connect with you and celebrate you. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next Tuesday.